Alrighty, so we are going to be in the white note packet today, but at the same time, I would like you to get out a just a piece of paper. Actually, you could probably use for what we filled up the front cover, didn't we already? You could use the front cover of your homework packet too. That would work too. Yeah, that would work too. Yeah, but what I want you to do is, I want you to write this stuff down. Apologize for being on my phone, but I did take a picture of it. Concur, picture. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. This way we're kind of the same between the two rooms, because this is posted in the other room, and I'll put it up there here when you guys have work time today. Okay? So if we are talking about a geometric sequence, then that's going to be multiplying or dividing, right? Okay? So the explicit function is going to be f of n is going to equal a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1 power, where this is your first term, which is also why this is a 1. Okay? I had also said at one point in time that could be any output here for this one, as long as this then is that output's input number. Okay? With me? The recursive is going to be your f of n equals f of n minus 1 times r. Okay? Or if you wanted to write it as r times f of n minus 1 if you wanted to write it like that. And then afterwards, we need to say f of 1 equals some number, or f of 2 equals some number. Let me give you an example of that. So if we have 6, 42, 294, 2058, and so on and so forth. My explicit, well, first off, I'm multiplying here by 7. Okay? So my explicit would be f of n equals 6 times 7 to the n minus 1 power. Or I could have 42 times 7 to the n minus 2 power. Or I could have 294 times 7 to the n minus 3 power. Okay? My recursive would be f of n equals f of n minus 1. Oops, I like this better. 7 times f of n minus 1 with f of 1 being 6. Give you a moment to get that copied down. Then we've got arithmetic. That's where we add or subtract to get the next one. So our explicit is going to be f of n is equal to d times n minus 1, then plus a sub 1. I think I forgot to say, way back up here, yep, I did forget to say that r here was our ratio, that which we were multiplying to get the next term. Okay? Because down here, d is our common difference. What we're adding to get the next term. Okay. And then a sub 1 is the first term. The recursive would be f of n equals f of n minus 1 plus d. Where f of 1 is some number. Here's our sequence now. Now we are adding 7. So my explicit would be f of n equals 7 times the quantity n minus 1 plus 6. My recursive would be f of n equals f of n minus 1 plus 7, where f of 1 is 6. Great little cheat sheet for you, if you will, that you can always refer back to when you're doing your homework, when we're doing examples in class, etc. So with that being said then, now we can go to page 25 in our note packet, and we can do numbers 1 through 3. Tell me if it's arithmetic or geometric or neither. Then come up with the recursive, come up with the explicit. Okay? I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. First thing I always check for is for addition. That would be minus 56. This would be minus 28. So it's definitely not arithmetic. But noticing the fact that it's minus 56 minus 28, that to me says this is multiplying by 1/2. This is multiplying by 1/2. So therefore that makes this be geometric. Okay? With an R value of 1/2. Okay? So my recursive function is going to be f of n is equal to 1/2 times f of n minus 1. Starting at 112. My explicit function is going to be f of n equals 112 times 1/2 to the n minus 1 power. Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications. Explicit could have also have been 56 times 1/2 to the n minus 2 power. 28 times 1/2 to the n minus 3 power. Okay. Number 2, if I check addition, that one's going to be a plus 5, that one's going to be a plus 7. So right there I know it's not arithmetic. Okay. This one's going to be a times 2, this one's going to be a times 1.7. So right there I know it's not geometric. So it's neither. Okay? Which means we can't give a recursive, we can't give a explicit. Now, if this were, I will say this because you're going to take a test here in a couple of weeks. Okay? If this were a test question, this were a test question, you couldn't just say neither and leave those blank. You would have to show me why it is not arithmetic, why it is not geometric. Okay? Okay. And lastly, to me this looks like plus 17. To me this looks like plus 17. So therefore that would be arithmetic. So my recursive then is going to be f of n is equal to f of n minus 1 plus 17 with f of 1 being negative 30. My explicit function is going to be f of n is going to equal 17 times the quantity n minus 1, then minus 30. Ideally, and I'm not doing this to pick on you, what did you write down? Because you so far all this week, you've been giving me the way that I like it instead.
I did 17n minus 47.
Love it. So much cleaner. So much nicer. You know what I mean? Less math, too. It's a multiplication and a subtraction, where the other one is a subtraction, then a multiplication, then a subtraction. Nope, I love it. I knew you had my back. Okay? Questions on any of those? All right. Today we're going to switch things up a little bit. Okay? We're going to be talking about arithmetic sequences. Okay? And we're going to be talking about other terms in the arithmetic sequence. So just as a kind of a warm-up after we kind of got thinking about those, these again, all arithmetic, which means we're doing what to get the next term? Addition or subtraction. Okay? So fill in the next 3 terms in those 3 sequences. Okay? Go. I'll give you 2 minutes. In number 1, what is the pattern? What are we adding or subtracting?
We're adding on 4 each time.
Adding 4 each time. So then 15 plus 4 would be 19. 19 plus 4 would be 23 plus 4 would be 27. Nailed it. In number 2, what's my pattern? Go ahead, yeah. Subtracting 12. Do we agree with subtracting 12 in number 2? I don't agree with subtracting 12. Anything else? Subtracting 7? Okay, subtracting 7 I like better. Okay, so negative 46 minus 7 would be negative 53. Negative 53 minus 7 would be negative 60. Negative 60 minus 7 would be negative 67. Okay? I think you got confused with number 3. Okay. Because what's the pattern for number 3? Adding 12. 18 plus 12 then would be 30. 30 plus 12 would be 42. 42 plus 12 would be 54. And so on. Okay? Love it. Okay? So today, we're going to have a goofy table. Okay? But, again, I remind you, all throughout today, we are dealing with arithmetic sequences. That's the kicker. We're dealing with an arithmetic sequence. So it's always going to be add. Okay? So, how we're going to do today, or how you go about doing these problems, and we'll do number 1 and 2 together, and then I think I turn you loose on numbers. Yeah. And then it's 3, and we'll skip 4, and 5, 6, and 7. Okay. Okay? All right. So, I always count jumps. So it took me 2 jumps to get from 5 to 11. Right? Okay? So I take my last number and I subtract off my first number and I divide that by the number of jumps. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will give me my common difference, D. Okay. So in this particular case, it would be 11 minus 5 divided by 2. 11 minus 5 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So my common difference here is 3. So then 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. and I've got my arithmetic sequence. With me? So this one would be negative 10, that's my last term, minus my first term was 18, and I'm going to divide that by 1, 2, 3, I made 4 jumps to get there. Negative 10 minus 18, negative 28. Negative 28 divided by 4.
Negative 7.
So negative 7 is my D, so I'm subtracting 7. 18 minus 7 is 11. 11 minus 7 is 4. 4 minus 7 is negative 3. Negative 3 minus 7 is negative 10, which is what I needed to be. With me? Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications? Okay, what I want you to do now is I want you to do number 3. We're going to skip number 4, number 5, number 6, and number 7. So we got negative 6 minus 12 all over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jumps. So that's going to be negative 18 over 6 is going to be negative 3. So my common difference here is negative 3, so I'm subtracting 3. 9, 6, 3, 0, negative 3, then negative 6. Works out. Okay. 86 minus 50 all divided by 1, 2, 3. 3 jumps. So that's going to be 36 over 3. Or 12. So 62, 74, 86. Minus 40 all over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps. So that's negative 30 over 5 is negative 6. So I'm subtracting 6, so that's 34, 28, 22, 16, and then that gets me to 10. Negative 23 all over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jumps. Adding 4, negative 19, negative 15, negative 11, negative 7, negative 3, positive 1, then 5. Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications? Okay. Love it. Homework this evening is in the yellow packet. problems numbers 1 through 11. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand stuff back. Then after I'm done handing stuff back, then I'll be available to stamp anything and everything that needs to be stamped.